Just gonna have you in the background like stressing.
I
Do
can't.
you want to take the piss of me?
I'm not ever taking the piss of you.
Literally all the time.
No, not seriously.
Okay. I don't like starting them, that's the worst bit.
Do you want me to start it?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel.
It's my April roundup.
It's my April roundup. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about the books that I read in April 2022. As per usual, I actually read more audiobooks than I read like physical books this month. I started with Positivity is Our Superpower by Malin Andersson, who is like a celeb and an online influencer. I actually listened to this as an audiobook, but I got given a proof copy from Hay House. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave it like a 4 or 5 stars. It's all about, as the tagline says, everything I've learned about trauma, grief, confidence and self-love. It's basically all about the things that Malin has gone through. So it's her autobiography, and like there is so much in there, and I didn't know who she was until after Love Island. She was a contestant on Love Island. I feel like I did take away a few things from this. It's quite a short book, to be honest, and at the start of every chapter she's always like Marlin's mantras, which I really liked, and as part of the proof package for this, which I'll put a photo on the screen now, I got some like cute little stickers and a little crystal and that kind of thing. So a really cute package from Hay House. I also said in my review of this that I really hope it was helpful for the author Malin herself as well to write this, because I think that it's obviously takes a lot to write about these things, and I hope that this was a kind of like therapy for her as well as it is helpful to other people to read. Next, the next book that I read The next book that I read is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. This I got as a proof. I don't think this is actually out yet. I think it comes out at the end of May. I really enjoyed this. This was quite a weird book and quite different to anything I've read. I don't have the copy with me at the moment because I've lent it to someone. It's kind of like a romance, I guess. It's based around this character who, her husband died 5 years prior, and she's just starting the dating scene again, and her best friend is telling her to go and see different people. So she meets this guy and ends up getting with his friend, and then she really likes this guy. She's still a bit nervous because she hasn't been dating for a while. Then she basically goes on this extravagant holiday that her boyfriend's dad has paid for, so she meets his dad out there. So she's meeting the dad because he lives abroad, and she starts to get feelings for the dad.
Oh my God.
It's a weird book, but I actually really liked it, and I was kind of like rooting for them, as weird as it is, and it's kind of all about like the sexual tension between them, and it's about and it's about like her, like, because the boyfriend is like quite harmless and he's really nice and he's like taking time for her and everything, and she's obviously like, oh my god, like I'm starting to have feelings for your dad, but she doesn't tell him, and it's all about the secrecy, and they kind of bond because the dad is like, he lost his wife a few years ago, so they kind of like have these chats in the garden at night and stuff. It's got all the sound effects in the background. I will also say in this as well, there is quite a lot of smart, like there's a definitely like 20-minute long sex scene, not to cause a big spoiler in the
book.
Yeah.
What?
Welcome to Smart.
Oh my god.
Not to give a spoiler, but yeah, so it also starts with a lot of sex as well, which I was like, oh, okay. In my review, I said that the characters were quite unique to me. I'm still perplexed what to think about Faye, the main character. On one hand, I feel really sorry for her and sympathise for her grief that we learn about from the start. On the other hand, I do slightly question the morals behind what happens on the island. Don't get me wrong, I kind of shipped them, I digged it, I was getting excited for them, I was nervous for them, but then when I think about Nazir, I felt so bad for him. But there was a quote that I really liked towards the end, and she's like, you have no right to me just because you've been patient with me doesn't mean that you deserved sex from me. I feel like I've definitely said a lot of spoilers in this already. There's also bisexual and lesbian representation in there. I read it in literally like a day. There's kind of themes of like art and cooking as well. Yeah, I think I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. So yeah, that was that one.
What was that called?
You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. So I think the title is actually song lyrics when I looked it up. I can't think of what song it was, but that's what it was. The next one that I read was an audiobook called The Maid by Nita Prose, and I saw loads about this online, people reading the physical book, and it put me off because it's so many pages long. Listen to it as an audiobook instead, and I think that was the best way to do it. It's about a hotel maid, so she talks a lot about like cleaning and stuff, and I was doing a lot of cleaning at the same time, so it fit quite nicely. It's about the main character. It's about, you're gonna love this, the main character is Molly the Maid. It reminds me of like Molly. It reminds me of Molly May. So the main character is Molly the Maid, and it's kind of assumed that she has some kind of autism because she takes everything very literally. She's really obsessed with cleaning. She does everything perfectly, and she gets in a situation that is not ideal. She walks in and finds someone dead in a hotel room. She walks in and finds someone dead in a hotel room, and it's kind of like a murder mystery in that, I suppose, in the fact that we're like, how she's been kind of like framed for it, and we're like, how do we prove that she didn't do it? There's a few twists and turns in there. There's kind of like a little spark of romance in there. It's kind of a lot about family and friendships as well. Throughout the book, she's also referencing her grandma that she used to live with, and always saying like, my grandma taught me this, so I'm doing this, which I really loved. Said that the character's really well developed, and I had no idea where the plot was going. Friendship was a key theme in the story, which made it really wholesome. The entire storyline is a little far-fetched and like perhaps not believable, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. So I gave this like a 4.5/5 out of 5 as well. The next one I read was a brush.
Sorry.
That's right.
Okay, you can continue.
Thanks. The next one I read was A Brush with Love, which I was kindly gifted. This is, I've seen this all over TikTok, and I think it has a sticker on the front as well. I haven't got it with me at the moment because I've lent it to a friend. This was just an easy, light read, romance, rom-com kind of book. It's called A Brush with Love because it's about 2 dental students. It's set in the USA, so technically it's like university, but they call it college. They're both 26 years old, and the main character, Harper, is like obsessed with academics. She's really academic. She's studying left, right and centre every hour of the day, and she meets Dan, Dental Dan. Yeah, I know. I started reading it because my boyfriend's called Dan. I started reading it. I was like, oh, you're in this, Danielle. He like really starts developing feelings for her, and he's like the sweetest guy ever, and she's like, no, don't have time for you because I'm too focused on my studies and that kind of thing. So it's kind of like a slow burn, friends to lovers kind of situation. I quite like the theme of like dentistry throughout it as well. It kind of gave it something different and unique. It was kind of cringe, but kind of like an easy read as a result. There were quite a few things that made me think they probably weren't 26. It kind of would have been more realistic if they were in like sixth form or high school or something, because of like the way that they were texting between each other and between Harper and her friends and stuff. I was like, you wouldn't say this as a 26-year-old. In it, Georgia, they were like lols. It was like LAWLZ, and I was like, no, that's just not happening.
Dental students as well, that's so random.
Yeah. I quite liked it though, like it gave it something else, like rather than just being a romance and all they just work, they have a job. Yeah. We kind of learn at the end, without giving a spoiler, that you know you can have a balance of things. She can do really well in her studies, but at the same time develop like feelings and a relationship with someone, which is kind of like the key theme throughout it. Also in this book, as well as You Made a Fool of Death for Your Beauty, there's a big smart section in this, like again like a 20-minute long sex scene.
What's smart?
But for books, yeah. And then the final book that I read / listened to in April 2022 was Katherine Ryan's The Audacity. So Katherine Ryan is a famous comedian. She's Canadian now, living in the UK. This is actually one of ours at Bonnier Books UK, but I work in the children's division, and this is a title on the adult side, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway. I gave this like a 5 out of 5. Genuinely really funny. She's on like a lot of TV shows, but I haven't seen like loads about her, and I'm really glad that I listened to her audiobook not knowing anything about her. There's so much in there that you obviously just wouldn't know from just listening to her comedy sketches or seeing her hosting a TV show. I listened to it as an audiobook, and she narrates it herself, which I think was really impactful. And because she's used to kind of like presenting and being on TV, and she's a comedian, she kind of like puts a lot of like acting into it and emphasis and intonation. You know, it makes it feel like she's actually telling the story to you rather than just reading off of a script. The book is called The Audacity because she basically starts by saying like she's always been called audacious, and basically people are always saying, oh, you've got such audacity. That theme is consistent throughout the book as well, basically examples of when she's been really audacious. Another thing that I really liked as well is each chapter was named how to ... and then something, and I thought that was quite fun. So it's like how to get murdered, no, not how to get murdered.
How to get murdered.
It's like how to get robbed by a masked man. So it's like obviously things that you don't want to do. It's like how to move across the country, how to attract really toxic men. So yeah, which I really liked. I feel like even that was funny as well, and you didn't really know what to expect, even though like the title kind of gives it away. Really enjoyed it, really funny, and really recommend. So they were all of the books that I read in April 2022. I'm kind of like reading a few at the moment, so it's May now. I've read Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is I've seen everywhere. I'm currently reading A Proof of Ocean State. When Women Were Dragons, I'm listening to that because that's a workbook. I'm listening to that as an audiobook as well. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you have similar thoughts, different thoughts, controversial thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below, and hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.